All right, what is going on? Super
안녕하세요.
Saturday. I know we got people
슈퍼세터데이입니다.
from all over tuning
전
in, and I
세계에서
am
많은 분들이
excited
로그인
to be joining you
하셨습니다.
guys.
여러분하고
I wish I could
함께하게
be
됐습니다.
there in person one of these days. In the not too distant future, we will be back doing live events, and I am definitely very excited about that. Have been a little stir crazy doing trainings here in the house, and so I know we all feel the same way, and I'm excited about today's topic, especially because it is something that really changed the game for me. Some of you know my story. I spent my first 5 years in network marketing, struggling to get to a full-time income. And, I got started at 18. I was in college. Cute waitress invited me to a presentation at a hotel. I thought it sounded good meeting her at a hotel at night to talk business. And she walked me into a presentation room. I saw the guy started drawing circles on the wall. I had never heard of network marketing. I thought this was the only network marketing company in the world. Super excited, all in. And after my first 2 years, some of you know the story, I sponsored 3 people, 2 of which I paid for to get in. One was my mom, and I never even told her she was in. And so at the end of 2 years, basically I had one person in my group, and that was me. And it didn't get a lot better from there. I joined another network marketing company and failed miserably. I joined another company and failed, another company and failed. And I just couldn't seem to make it work. And what was frustrating was I was doing a lot of personal development. I was reading a lot of books. I was attending events. And for whatever reason, it just wouldn't seem to come together for me. And when I met Wayne Nugent, I was 24 years old. I was working as a waiter at Saltgrass Steakhouse in Dallas, Texas here. And, someone brought me to meet him, and he explained the concept that we all know, our IC program. It's invite, share, enroll, and educate. Back then, it was IPET, invite, present, enroll, and train. That's still what's stuck in my head because I've been talking about it for 20 years now. And it's one of the reasons why I started having success is because what I was doing while I was reading lots of books and I was learning lots of amazing things and lots of amazing strategies, some advanced strategies even on closing and so forth. And I actually got to the point where I could close people. I was a good salesperson, but I never got any duplication. And I don't know if you can relate to that at some point in your career where you're enrolling a lot of people, but no one's doing anything. And, this really outlines the whole thing, going through these 4 steps. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I hope you hear me when I say this, the biggest challenge that people have in network marketing is not overcomplicating the process. So the biggest challenge is complicating it. We have a very simple business, and it needs to be simple all the way around. Okay, it needs to be simple from a presentation standpoint. It needs to be simple from a closing standpoint. The invitation needs to be simple. And what I'm going to talk specifically about is the educate. The educate needs to be simple. And if you overcomplicate it, you don't duplicate. And this is where all of the money is in network marketing. Now, previous to meeting Wayne and learning the IC system, I got to the point where I could close people, and I was really good. And I had all kinds of advanced closing techniques. I could overcome every objection. And I was working ridiculously hard in a network marketing company. Now, over the course of a few months, I had about 150 people in my group. Now, you might think, whoa, that's pretty good. In a few months to have 150 people, that's awesome. The challenge was, it all came from me and one other person. See, there was one guy that I recruited, and he was a superstar salesperson, and he understood the art and science of closing. And I basically taught him my network marketing sales process, and he got it. And so out of 150 people in the group, I had personally sponsored about 90, and he had personally sponsored the rest. And we had no duplication whatsoever in our group. So we were basically, invite, share, and enroll, and there was no educate. There was nothing after that. And when I met Wayne, he talked about a concept. He said, sometimes you have to go slow to go fast. And frustrating for me because I'm a kind of guy, I just want to go fast. I want to win and I want to produce results quickly. And in 5 years, I hadn't produced results at all, other than I was good at sponsoring people. Finally, it took me a long time to get to that point. And I just want to, I kind of want to break, in order to cover educate, I almost have to cover the others, right? And so obviously invite. Now, here's the whole key is every part in the process has to be simple. And if it's not simple, it doesn't duplicate. Our business, the residual income, the long-term freedom is all about duplication. And so that's, in my opinion, the most important process is the duplication, okay? And so the invite needs to be simple. So your closing, your enrolling actually starts with the invite. And so if you have a really complicated invite, people are not going to enroll because they think they have to learn this really complicated system to invite. And so you've probably already had invite training or you're going to have invite training. So I'm not going to go through it. All I want to say is the invite process needs to be simple. Next, the share process needs to be simple. Now, I know there's some of you who could do a 2-hour presentation and you could wow people. And listen, I've been through all the hypnotic selling courses. I spent $10,000 for 1 day of coaching on hypnotic selling. And it's cool to know all that stuff, but that's not what duplicates. And so it needs to be a simple presentation. And here's the thing, if you may have so much knowledge about World Ventures and you may have the ability to tell people everything, but what happens is if you're sharing too much with your prospect, they think they have to know all of the things that you're saying in order for them to go out and be successful. They think they have to do what you do. And so the presentation needs to be simple. If you're doing a live presentation, 30, 45 minutes max. If you're doing a webinar, typically 20, 30 minutes max. Every once in a while, I'm guilty and I'll go over and I got to correct myself and pull more out of the presentation. So realize less is more. Less is more, okay? And I've tested this over the last 11, 12 years with World Ventures. I have tried explaining all the intricacies of the compensation plan in a presentation, showing all kinds of duplication in the compensation plan. And what happens is my closing ratio is always higher the less I share. And so we get into this, this thing where we have so much knowledge in our head, we want to share it with other people because there's so much that's good about World Ventures. There's so much that's good about our opportunity. We naturally want to share it. And I'm telling you, I've just tested it all ways. And typically the less I share, the higher my closing ratio is. And there's an old rule that a mentor told me many, many years ago. And I want you to remember this. If it's not necessary to say it, it's necessary not to be said. If it's not necessary to say it, it's necessary not to be said. So you don't have to go through every intricacy of our compensation plan. You don't have to go through every intricacy of, you know, our product and the rules behind the product and all this kind of stuff, all the details on exactly how you advance and rank. I mean, I had a young or new leader on my team and she starts really rocking it. And she's doing well, and she's doing compensation plan. Every time she enrolls a new rep, she's doing a compensation plan training because in her mind, people need to know how to get paid. And I finally, like, there's not a lot of duplication happening. I'm like, stop going through this detailed compensation plan training with all your new reps. They now have paralysis of analysis, okay? So I'm gonna get to really what we wanna cover and educate, okay? Now, this may not be a super long training. Some of you are going to be like, oh my God, he went triple IMD and has made millions of dollars. And I want something deeper. Here's the problem. Deep doesn't duplicate. I do what makes the most money, not what impresses people the most. I'm going to say that again. I do what makes the most amount of money, not what impresses people the most. Okay? Now, so the invite needs to be simple. The share needs to be simple. And the enrollment, the closing definitely needs to be simple. So there's a concept that I talk about that's close early and close often. Okay. Here's the whole thing. Like, I told you I got really good at closing, and I used to have a 5-step, a 7-step closing process, a daily method of operation close, really slick. And it allowed me to enroll a lot of people. Here's the challenge. I didn't need to do all those complicated closes. Maybe if I do this complicated 5 or 7-step close, I might enroll a little bit more higher percentage of people, but then they don't duplicate. Okay, so here's what I've learned, and I'm just gonna tell you what makes the most money is your closing process needs to be very simple. When the presentation is over, you close early. Okay, so the mistake that most people make is that the presentation's over and you get into, oh my God, and then there's this, and there's this, and there's this, impressing your prospect. But again, impressing your prospect is not what makes the most money. Enrolling your prospect and getting them duplicating is what makes the most money. So you close early, because when the presentation's over and you wow your prospect with all your amazing knowledge, what happens is your prospect thinks they need to have all that amazing knowledge in order to go enroll anyone else. So they don't need to know all your amazing knowledge. They need to believe and understand that this is a very simple process. So when the presentation is over, the most complicated I get is, that was pretty awesome, wasn't it? What do you like best? And they tell me. And I say, awesome, sounds like you're ready to get started. And I shut up and I wait. Now, this is not a closing training, but I want to illustrate the point that it should be very simple. Now, I'll give you another one, and it goes like this. The presentation is over, and I go, awesome, right? Are you ready to get started? Which product do you want to get started with? Is another question. Okay, again, very, very simple. Again, it should be just a simple thing. Like getting started shouldn't be this long drawn out process. It should be, all right, presentation's over, and naturally they would get started. So naturally, we're going to ask them to get started. Now, they may have a question, and if they have a question or an objection, whatever it may be, you're going to address that question, address that objection, and you're going to close often. Here's what I mean by often is you close early. As soon as the presentation is over, you ask for the business. If they have a question, objection, whatever it is, you handle that, and then you close again. So they say, well, how do you earn residual income? How does, how many points can I use on a trip? Whatever it is, you're going to say, here's how the points work. Do you have any other questions, or are you ready to get started? You're going straight to the line. Okay, think of this. It's like closing should be an A to B, a straight line. Okay, so when the presentation is over, you want to stay on the straight line and ask them a closing question. Are you ready to get started? You might say, what do you like best? And then sounds like you're ready to get started, or are you ready to get started? But you stay on the line. What many, many people do, because they're hesitant to ask for the business, as soon as the presentation is over, you go, oh, what do you like best? And they tell you, and they say, oh, the travel. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. Me too. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. In fact, we have trips to Hawaii, and we have trips to Dubai, and we have a points program. And the way the points program work is this, and we have travel dollars. Every 6 cycle pays you in the form of travel, and you can redeem those travel dollars for a trip. And what happens is you're way off the line, way off the line. You stay on the line, A to B, okay? Now, that's the closing process. So let's move on. Now we have someone enrolled. They're in the system. We want to educate them. What's the goal of educating them? The goal is to get them inviting. There's a reason why there's a line connecting. All of these, invite goes to share, share goes to enroll goes to educate, and educate goes to invite. It is point A to point B. Okay, A to B, A to B, A to B, A to B. Okay, simple, simple, simple. So I'm gonna just, people disagree with me, and I'm just saying, listen, I've been doing this successfully for 20 years. I've been crushing it for 20 years. Now, when I enroll someone, I'm not going through an overly detailed program about how everything works. They don't need to know exactly how you advance in rank. They don't need to know how the customer counts work. They don't need to know all of this stuff. They joined for a reason. If they're joining the business, why did they join the business? Because they want to do what? They want to make what? They want to make money. Okay, so they've joined, that's A, and point B is them making money. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stay on a straight line and I'm gonna help move them to point B as fast as possible. Now, what a lot of people do, and I see it as a breakdown and duplication all the time, is you've enrolled a new rep, point B is them making money, but instead of going straight to point B, they say, oh, we need to do a new member training. And there's nothing wrong with new member training. Don't get me wrong, okay? There's a time and a place for that. And I think it's great if you have a weekly new member training. In fact, in World Ventures, we're implementing a Saturday Power Start training, okay? Every Saturday we get people to that training. But if I'm enrolling someone, I'm definitely getting them to the Power Start because I want them educated on the product. I want them to have more belief, but I want them to make money. And if I'm waiting until Saturday, whenever the Fast Start training is, I'm not moving in a straight line from A to B, getting them from enrolled to making money. So how do we get them from enrolled to making money is we teach them how to invite. We get them to take action as fast as possible. And listen, I've had this in so many cases. I had a group, I won't say the country, but I'm in a country and I've got a team in a new country. And there's two different teams. Now, one team is in a big city with millions of people. Another team is in a smaller city with a couple, 200,000-300,000 people. The people in the big city have 10 plus years. The leader has 10 plus years network marketing experience. The leader in the small city, way less people, has no network marketing experience whatsoever. He is absolute ignorance on fire. And what's happening is the leader with no experience in the little city is exploding. They're growing like crazy. And the leader in the big city with all the experience is not growing. And he can't figure out why. And I fly into the cities and I'm like, I'm gonna dig into this because I don't know exactly what's going on. And so I go in and I go to the city who's on fire and they don't really know what they're doing, but they're getting people in and they're just getting them into action. Who do you know that we can go talk to right now? Who do you know that we can go talk to right now? Because that's the training I gave them. The guy didn't really know network marketing. I said, listen, when you get people in, first question you ask everyone is, who do you know that we can go talk to right now? And so that was their whole thing. Here's what you say to them. Basically, they just taught the invite, okay? Now, and they're just exploding. We have big events. It's awesome. I fly to the next city. Now, I get in. The city is how many times? It's 10 times, more than 10 times bigger than the small city. I fly in, and there's like no one at the presentation. I do a training. I'm really kind of frustrated. I sit down with the leader afterwards. I'm like, all right, what's your system? What are you doing? He goes, well, we have every week we do a fast start training. And I'm like, how long is your training? Well, we do about 3 hours. Every Saturday, I go through the compensation plan. I go through the product. I go through the membership. I go through all this stuff. And that's the big driver for the week is they're driving all the new people, which there's not a lot of new people, but they're driving everyone to this fast start training. And I quickly realized that the challenge in the market is that they're not educating people on the most important money-making aspect of the business, which is the invite. And so if people are wondering, like, what is this education process? The education process is teaching the invite. Again, this is not an overly deep training. Now, here's my attitude. When someone is in, Wayne Nugent told me years ago, he said, sell them, get them sold, get them selling. Sell them, get them sold, get them selling. Sell them is obviously enroll, get them in, okay? So you get in, you ask simple closing questions. And again, one of the aspects of closing is you can be the best in the world. You're not going to close everyone. It's a sorting game more than it's a selling game. So you're going through the numbers and you're obviously doing your best and you're enrolling those who are enrollable and you're getting them started. So that's sell them. Now get them sold. The best way to get them sold is not over-educating them with tons and tons of product knowledge and compensation plan knowledge and all this other stuff. It's to get them into action. It's you being excited saying, hey, you got started with me. Why did you get started? Here's what I like to do, because what I understand is that action follows emotion. Action follows feelings. And so there was a high enough feeling, a high enough motivation, a high enough level of excitement to get them in. So they're in, and now I want to elevate that emotion. I want to elevate that motivation. Okay, so I'm going to ask a question like this. I'm going to say, awesome, man, welcome to the team. Like, they're in the system. I say, awesome, man, welcome to the team. Now, tell me this. Why did you join? What do you really want to get out of this? And sometimes they'll be like, oh, I want to make money. I want to get out of debt. And I'm going to dig for something that's more meaningful than the money. Okay. You know, one of the things I've said a long time for many years is, money ends in a why. Why do you want the money? Money ends in a why. Why do you want the money? And here's what I want from them. And sometimes I'll even ask them this. I'm going to say, why is being successful in this not just an option? Why is it a must? Why must you crush this and become financially free? And they're going to dig down and, you know, find something. And it might be that they're sick and tired of fighting traffic to and from work every day. They're sick and tired of missing their little kids growing up. They want to be a hero to their children. They want to world school their children. They want to be the first person in their family to break the cycle of poverty. I want to pull something out that's more than just the money. Everyone typically says money. Why'd you do this? Oh, I want to make money. I want to get out of debt. Well, why must you be successful with this? You know, where would you like to see yourself in 90 days from now, a year from now? Where would you like to see yourself? What's a good goal? Man, if I could, a year from now, if I could quit my job, that would be a dream come true. I'm going to say, awesome. Well, listen, if that's your goal, that's my goal. That's your goal. That's my goal. And I promise you, you'll give up on that goal before I'll give up on that goal. You'll give up on you before I'll give up on you. My job is to coach you and help you make that goal a reality. So you ready to lock arms with me? Yeah, awesome. Well, listen, are you let me ask you another question. Are you willing to follow my coaching to make that goal a reality? Are you willing to follow my coaching to make that goal a reality? Okay. Now, if you're enrolling your best friend and your best friend doesn't know you as a business expert, then it may be harder to ask that question. But even if it is your best friend, you can still pull out that why. You can still find a goal. You can increase their motivation, increase their desire. See, what I learned years ago, a great book by Art Williams. Art Williams is the founder of Primerica, what is now Primerica. They built the largest term life insurance company in the world with a network marketing model. Huge success. And he said this, the key to winning is one thing. The key to winning is desire. If you have a lot of desire, regardless of how bad you may be, you're going to win. Because if you have enough desire, you'll have the determination and the willpower and the grit to go over, around, or through any obstacle that gets in your way. And if you don't have enough desire, regardless of your talent, there's always going to be challenges. And if you don't have enough desire, you will let that challenge stop you from achieving your goals and dreams. So desire is the key to winning. And, you know, if I look at my career, if I look at the many million-dollar earners that I've worked with over the years, the one common trait among all the top earners is they have an obsessive level of desire. We just want to win so bad. And I'll tell you this, desire is a discipline. You need to be disciplined in creating your own desire, and you want to help facilitate desire for other people. How do you do that? Well, what Art Williams said was, dreams are the fuel that fire desire. Dreams are the fuel that fire desire. Now, if you don't have a lot of dreams, you're not going to have a lot of desire. Tony Robbins says there's no such thing as unmotivated people. There's just people with impotent dreams. Okay. John Maxwell said it a little more eloquently. He said, if you don't want much, you won't do much. So you want to help people pull out their dreams and have them tell you what their dream is. Why is having success in this a must? Not just an option. Why is it a must? What do you want to get out of this? Where do you see yourself a year from now? What would you love to have happen? And what happens is that increases their level of motivation. And because I've just increased their level of motivation, I will increase their level of action. And I'll say something to this effect. Now, listen, that goal is my goal. You'll give up on that goal before I'll give up on that goal. You'll give up on you before I'll give up on you. If you'll lock arms with me, if you'll be coachable and teachable, we absolutely will make that goal a reality. Now, are you willing to follow my coaching to have that become a reality? Are you willing to follow my coaching so we can achieve that goal? Yes, awesome. Here's what you need to do. This business, it's a contact sport. We've got to go contact people. And so who do you know that we can go talk to right now? I might have them come up with who's their white hot market. Who can we go talk to right now? Who can we get on a Zoom right now? Now things have changed. It used to be going with them physically. Some of the markets that you guys are in, you can go physically with people. Sometimes it's on a Zoom. I've got a team that's growing like crazy right now. No one is meeting in person, and the only thing they're doing are Zooms. And so they're coaching people on inviting people. Hey, I'm launching something cool. I'm doing a quick Zoom get together. I'm not telling anyone what it is until Thursday night, just a few of my closest friends. And I want to invite you to be there. Can I count on you being there Tuesday at 7 p.m.? Okay. It's called the big announcement invite. Okay. That's an example of one of many invites. Someone else is probably doing invite training today, but that's the big announcement invite. So you're calling your friends and saying, hey, I'm having a get together on Tuesday night. Now we've got someone, we're doing the call tonight actually, and they've got 42 people invited for this Zoom big announcement. No one knows what it is, but say, I'm making an announcement. I'm doing a Zoom, having a get together with some of my closest friends. I'm not telling anyone what it is until tonight. Can I count on you being there? And they show up because they're curious. They want to know what the heck is this big announcement? And so they invite people to the Zoom. The new person is going to get on and say, hey, thank you, everyone. I'm so excited for you guys to be here. They're going to go through the 3-step setup. Share their why. This is big. I'm all in. Either way is totally cool. But if there's anyone I'd want to team up with, travel with, it is you guys. So thank you for being here. At the end, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Either way is totally cool. But I'm going to introduce you to, and then they edify the person doing the presentation. See, very simple process. So the educate, what are we doing on educating? We're asking them, hey, what is your goal? What do you want to get out of this? Okay. Why do we ask them what their goal and what do they want to get out of this? Why is having success in this a must, not just an option? Because I want to increase their level of desire. I like asking the question, are you willing to follow my coaching to have that goal become a reality? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Awesome. Here's what you need to do. And who do you know that we can talk to right now? Who, if you were stranded on the side of the road, you had 4 flat tires, you need to call someone to pick you up. Who are you calling? Okay. I call my best friend, John. All right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to text John and say, hey, are you available right now? Okay, I'm just going to quickly get into action. What I'm educating people on, again, it is A to B, okay? I want to, A is them joining, B is them making money. The fastest point to get them making money, that's what educate is all about. I don't need to train them on all kinds of other aspects of our compensation plan, company, product, you name it. They don't need to know all that. Okay. Now, am I saying hold it back from them? No, not at all. Am I saying don't do a fast start training every week? No, not at all. But what I'm saying is when you get people in, you need to have a culture. That culture, the money making, the most money making culture in World Ventures is this. It's called Score in 24. It's go out and get another person in the first 24 hours. Now, I'll tell you a quick story. And this is a huge, huge warning. Years ago, worked with Wayne Nugent, and he taught me this, and I started crushing it. I mean, I just was like, man, I'm going to follow this to the T. I'm going to invite, share, enroll, educate. IPET at the time, invite, present, enroll, and train. I'm just going to do this over and over and over and over. And you're going to go with people. So when you get a brand new person, I'm going to go with them to present, or I'm going to get on a Zoom with them. I'm not going to leave them to do it all on their own, because if I leave them to do it all on their own, they can't answer the questions. They're going to fumble around about it. All I want to do is teach them how to invite so I can present. See, the reason why this works so well is because 95% of the people in the world don't like to sell. They hate to sell. And so if you have a system that revolves around someone doing all the selling themselves, then it breaks down and it doesn't duplicate. Okay. So again, I started going through this process and I crushed it. $2,000 a week within 90 days, 10,000 a week within 6 months. And I had one of my teams. It was my biggest team. Really talented guy, way more talented than I was. And he was on one of my teams. It was my biggest team, blowing up. And one thing they noticed was they were basically ignorance on fire. And so they were closing people, and then they were just teaching people how to invite. But they didn't feel like they were teaching it good enough. And so they implemented a weekly fast start. And they made every brand new person take a vow of silence until they came to the fast start training. Because at the fast start training, they were going to teach people how to invite the right way. And I mean, we have the 4-step invite, there's the 2-step text, there's all these. I mean, back then we had whatever it was we were training on. And I was kind of, at the time, this was my first real success in network marketing. The guy in my group, he was my biggest leader. And I just remember thinking, ooh, I don't think that's a good idea, but I'm still pretty green to this network marketing success thing. And so I just kind of let them do what they're doing, and they were probably going to do it anyway. So their whole thing was people are burning their warm market. They're calling, and the people they don't know enough to be equipped enough to handle whatever objections come up on the invite. And so this vow of silence thing. So now everyone's coming to the fast start training before they go out and invite. And guess what happened to their team? Absolutely died. It just completely died because they were having people wait. I mean, doing the fast start training once a week, and they were wowing people with tons of knowledge, and people came out of the training like, whoo, I'm excited. But it was too long in between, and people weren't burning their prospects anymore because people weren't inviting like crazy. Mark my words, ignorance on fire is 1,000,000 times better than knowledge on ice. And while that team died, my other teams that we just continued all right, you're in, who do we go talk to? You're in, who do we go talk to? You're in, who do we go talk to? Make a list of names and invite them. Make a list of names and invite them. That's it. Okay, part of the educate process is who can we talk to right now? Homework is go make a list of 20 people. 20 to 200. If you want to make a little money, make a list of 20. If you want to make a lot of money, if you want to get full-time in this, make a list of 200 people. And, when you have a big list, what happens is your level of motivation is much higher. Because let's say you make a list of 200 people and you call 2 and they say no, you still have 198 left. You have an abundance mentality versus a scarcity mentality. And so I'm telling you, when it comes to being in the trenches, it's a very simple process. It's invite, share, enroll, and educate. Again, A to B. The purpose of the invite isn't to wow them with a bunch of information. It's not to give a presentation that's over the phone. It's the purpose of the invite is from A to B, to get them to see a presentation. Once they've seen a presentation, A to B is enroll. I'm not going to get off the line. I'm staying A to B. When I enroll someone, immediately I want to educate them. I'm not going off the line. I'm not saying, hey, don't do anything until you come to a fast start training on Thursday or Saturday or whenever it is. Immediately, I want to get them into action. How do I get them into action? I get them inviting. Simple process. If you'll do that over and over and over and over, that's the key to making a lot of money in our profession. And people are always like, Matt, what's the secret of going triple IMD? What's the secret? And I'm telling you, all it is this, over and over and over. Here's the reality. If you've enrolled someone in World Ventures, you've already done what it takes to hit triple IMD. You've already done it. You just need to go enroll more people. See, the biggest challenge in our business is not overcomplicating the process. Keep it simple. Follow the IC format over and over and over. Do that day in and day out. It is boring. It's doing the same thing over and over. And I know you know all kinds of amazing, probably leadership training and advanced things with the compensation plan. You know all this amazing stuff. The challenge is going to be not sharing that all the time and wowing people with your brilliance. See, for me, I don't need to wow people with my brilliance because I know what's going to make them the most money is just keeping it simple. doing the same thing day in and day out. And my friends, I got to tell you, I'm so excited with where we're at with, our company being around 15 years and establishing ourselves as the top travel network marketing company in the world. And the vision for what we have is just phenomenal. The fact that we are in the biggest industry in the entire world, the biggest, most dominant player in network marketing in the biggest industry in the world. Not only the biggest industry in the world, the most fun, exciting, sexy industry in the world, the most fun industry in the world, the industry and the product that is already everyone's dream. It's an inherent yes. We've got the best out there. And so I hope you know and realize what you have your hands on. It's why I continue doing what I'm doing, excited about going quadruple IMD. And listen, can't wait to see you guys on the beach.